Alright everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video I'll be addressing the reasons as to why I don't fit in with most people. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate as well. As it is the case, especially in this current age, right? But the reasons might not be the same. I mean, in the current time, we all know that physical connections have decreased a lot. People do not spend time together as they used to. They don't communicate as much as they used to with each other. A lot of people like that I see right now, they just like communicating when necessary, when they need something. But they just almost never initiate, just like that, just because they want to talk. In certain contexts, like in public spaces, like if you were to go to certain public spaces, there are lots of clients. You have to sit down. There are other clients. Then people are more likely to initiate conversations due to boredom. If they don't look in their phones, then they're more likely to initiate. But without any particular reason, without these special contexts where there are like people grouping, you know what I'm saying? People like for people to just initiate. That's rarely the case. If they are not bored, if they aren't in these public spaces, like for example, waiting in a queue, right? Without these contexts, I rarely see someone who actually initiates, who is not bored, who just wants to talk, who just wants to engage. Now this is the problem, because like for example, if you are on the streets, like how many times do you remember someone approaching you and starting a conversation? For a lot of in a lot of societies, like this is not conventional to just go and talk to strangers, but you get what I'm saying? You don't need like a context that reunites people, like schools, like queues, right? For example, you go into the doctor, right? So you sit with other people who just came for the same purpose. You're all bored, and you start a conversation. This is not what I'm talking about, because in this context, it could be more than than one pretends to be. These conversations could start more often, because people are bored, right? And not everyone seeks their phone when they are bored. And there is also curiosity, as one might came, for example, to the doctor. In the case of the doctor, in school, there are daily interactions between students. They study in the same class. It's hard to not feel bored. Without interacting with anyone, and you have to interact with someone, in certain situations. Like you want something, you want them to borrow you something. For example, a pencil, a pen. You want them to explain to you something. To hand you out their notes because you were absent. You didn't know what the lesson was about. This is necessary. What I'm talking about is that in situations where there is no strong drive, people just want to there is no reason to initiate. This is what I'm talking about. For example, in the streets, we can also give the example of these queues, right? In these lines, right? But in situations like, for example, when you gotta buy something. So there is less drive to talk about someone, because you are not looking for circumstances. You are not I mean, you are not sitting in one place. You could be standing, right? I mean, there are cues, right? You might also like, I mean, for example, tell them to preserve your spot. So even if you leave but a lot of times they don't want that. I mean, because people are waiting, right? So if you leave, what if you left and didn't return in time and other people are waiting? So this is the problem. But what I saw, like from my observations in this context, like when you're trying to buy something and there is a big line or something like that, I don't see conversations in the context because there are less circumstances. Usually less, which means less curiosity. That's why. But for people to just approach you and start conversations, I mean, this is unconventional in most societies, especially in street contexts. Outside of street contexts, yeah, there could be interactions like in the school environment and this and that, right? So public spaces, very unlikely. I mean, people just want to approach you and sit with you and start a conversation. I don't see this. It feels like weird because this is not. We didn't like the wired us to think that is weird, right? Because we didn't grow doing that. We are not used to just going to strangers and talking to them. Because the first, most likely the first reaction the stranger like will have is probably like, well, why is this person talking to me? Why this person is approaching me? For what reason? They start to be suspicious instead of curious about the reasons. I mean, this is like the initial reaction. And it's mostly about societal wiring. We are wired to think that way, to react that way because it's unconventional, as I said, in most societies. But what I'm really trying to talk about is not the superficial connections. I mean, superficial talk happens all the time, right? So you go to buy something. I mean, even though it doesn't happen too much about strangers unless there are, unless if necessary. I mean, when you go to, like, for example, I mean, it happens though. Like, for example, when you go to buy something, you interact with the seller. You go to a doctor, you interact with the doctor. In the school, you have to interact with the students and teacher, even if you don't want to. Sometimes, as I said, in these necessary situations, you want to understand something, you want to borrow something, etc. You get what I'm saying? But with deep connections, I mean, like forming forming deep emotional connections or having deep conversations with other people. Now, this is way less common. Because not everyone prioritizes or values depth in conversations. A lot of people they value, they value emotional connection. I mean, they value, what can I say? They just want to communicate. It doesn't matter if it's shallow. It doesn't matter if it's superficial. They don't care about depth. They don't care about, precision when discussing something. Some people don't want to talk a lot, don't want to engage a lot. So there are different types of people, and they don't value the same things, and they have different prioritizations. Priorities, sorry. Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is that in this age, it's very difficult with the phones, with the technology. Most people they're not playing outside no more, like the kids. Back in the day, man, I'm not even that old. I'm only 22, but I remember when I was 8 to 12, you know what I'm saying? It was different. We were actually going outside. We were actually playing around. We were actually having fun. Now, most people's nowadays, the real life is online. This is where their identity is. They spend most of their time online, watching bullshit. Most people, they consume entertainment stuff. It's bullshit to me, but it's not objective, but it doesn't lead to any long-term benefit. It's just entertainment. It just gives you the dopamine rush. I mean, it's good, yeah, to relieve stress, to better one's mood. But at the same time, one should also like focus on their goals, so should focus on something meaningful. Instead of just chasing entertainment, unless that's their only goal. Because people usually have like bigger goals than just that. They want to live, right? They want to have financial success, they want status, they want fame, some want self-control, some want emotional stability. As a result of this self-control, some people just want a better life. This is the thing, like people are so like immersed in this entertainment stuff that this is what they do, this is what they consume, that's the only thing that they consume. This is where the problem is. When it becomes the only thing that you consume, you have other goals in life, right? You want to have a job, you want to have a family, you want to become knowledgeable. But still you're spending too much time on this because of lack of discipline. It could be the reason, right? Other reasons could be like ADHD, you only go for things that interest you, like you tend to neglect things that are necessary. For example, to obtain a job, like the curriculum, you neglect the curriculum, then and you tend to be interested about something else. Yeah, this is the same case. This is the case with me. So it's not necessarily a lack of discipline. It can also be about the environment. It can also, because like willpower is not enough. If the environment is not right, then willpower could be exhausted, because willpower is not limitless. So you need the right environment to thrive. You need the right education, you need the right guidance, you need the right feedback. And you need the right mindset. You need to have belief, you need to have pride, you need ambition, you need consistency, right? So it's like all things that you need to succeed. It's about hard work and smart work. It's about, think of hard work as the fuel, and think of smart work as the compass. With a compass without fuel, then you're not moving, right? You're either not moving, or you probably, yeah, you have the right direction, but as with a compass, or without fuel, right? You have the right direction, but you don't move, or you move slowly. You might reach your direction, but it's gonna be very slow. It's ineffective, right? So the route is ineffective. Whereas with having the fuel but not the compass is about putting in the effort, the discipline, the consistency, but not having the right strategy. You're not updating your strategy. Your strategies are ineffective. They are rigid. So which leads to wasted potential, to wasted effort, usually. Right? So if you want maximal results, not maximal, but the best possible results that you can possibly achieve, then you should aim for both hard work and smart work. But this is separate. Now, going back to the topic. A lot of people nowadays, like they don't like to, like their baseline dopamine is so low. They're so used to this overstimulation from social media, from watching these short that destroy attention span, the fragment attention. No wonder why they can't read books, why they can't take a walk in nature, because these activities, they produce way less dopamine, right? They don't feel satisfied doing these things. That's why they require overstimulation to feel the same level of happiness, to feel good. Now this is a problem, because if you wire your brain to require overstimulation, as I said, you might find most things boring. Then this is the reason why a lot of people, they don't engage in day-to-day interactions. They don't find these things enjoyable. Just having a talk with someone physically, don't find that enjoyable. They'd rather look down on their phones 24/7, be immersed in that virtual world than talk to someone, than engage with someone. I mean, there is also a problem of what you gotta say to that person, because if you really lack knowledge, if you really lack depth, then you might struggle. You might have superficial conversations if you lack depth, and you might struggle with what to talk about if you lack knowledge. This is why, like, I advocate for having knowledge and depth. Being able to go deep when needed, though not everyone cares about that, but with the right people. You should aim for depth and precision, and you should also have the knowledge to talk about something. Because if you don't have basic knowledge, then how can you really talk about something? I mean, you can ask questions if someone is knowledgeable, but that's about it. You can just extract questions from the information presented. But to come up with advanced questions, right? To come up with your own text, then you need knowledge, a certain level of knowledge. And when I say knowledge, I mean decent knowledge, not average knowledge, because average knowledge could be very low in certain domains like rocket science. Most people have little to no knowledge about such things. It requires advanced calculus. It requires a lot of prior knowledge about physics, mathematics. No wonder why it's complex for most. An average implies comparison. That's why I said decent, not average. Average implies comparison. It could be very low in certain domains while very high in other domains. I mean, comparison can be bad if you constantly compare yourself to others, and your worth is based on surpassing other people. Your satisfaction is based on surpassing other people. No, that's when it can be harmful. Whereas with decent knowledge, it's about knowing the basics. It's about having a sufficient knowledge to not blindly follow or be misled by, or to blindly follow what other people say or follow what they say. Not being misled by other people, right? Having enough knowledge to critically examine what they say. And formulate your own opinions as well. This is what decent knowledge, in my opinion, is. Like most people, nowadays, to be honest, they don't care about physical connection. They would rather talk to AI. They would rather engage in this online toxic environments than talk to a person face to face. I don't really get it. These toxic environments are really bad. AI could be good, but human connections could be good and AI could be good in different senses. In terms of intellectual friction, AI is better. It can challenge reasoning. It can detect hidden assumptions. It can detect biases. It can help improve reasoning, right? So it can also help with creativity. It reduces biases significantly. It examines information more objectively. It's not toxic. It doesn't insult. And it's a perfect conversation partner in the sense of always responding, always engaging, and never getting tired. It always functions. It's always there as long as the servers are still working, and as long as the AI algorithm are still working as well. So when it comes to intellectual friction, I think AI is better. But when it comes to human social friction, I think humans are better in the sense of unpredictability. You don't know what they say, how they will react to a situation. They can sometimes misunderstand you. They have emotion, the emotional depth as well. They have experiences, right? You can relate to them in terms of emotions, in terms of experiences. That's why they force adaptation, right? They can misunderstand you, they can attack you, they introduce emotional biases, a lot of biases, big mistakes in logic, a lot of flaws in logic. So they can train you to adapt. AI can also simulate these mistakes and these biases, but that's why I think that engaging with AI is better than engaging online with other people, because most online environments are toxic. They contain these things, right? AI can simulate these and it can also remove these things, right? These human things, right? So it can either talk to you in like an AI, or it can simulate a human, though not perfectly, but still. And when talking online to a human, it feels more like talking to an AI. So it's better, in my opinion, to talk with AI than to talk with an online human, especially since that most environments where there is comment sections, Discord groups, most of these environments involve I mean, groups of people talking, so they are usually chaotic. One is talking over the another, they are not listening, right? Especially in group, in voice chats, in comment section as well, it's usually chaotic. This guy he's talking to this guy, and this guy talking to this guy, and he's talking to, you get what I'm saying? And this harms productivity, and harms learning as well. I mean, productivity in the sense of having good results in terms of learning, in terms of understanding. Right? So, what I would say is that I mean, if one aims to just talk, like use their phones, I mean, it's better to go for AI, in my opinion. I mean, finding like reasonable, good environments online is very difficult, to be honest. I tried, but I couldn't. It's very difficult where there is, a tolerable level of disrespect, where there is what can I say? No chaos, right? Where there is moderation in talking. It's hard. It's hard, and it's not really worth it if AI can simulate this. You can just go on character AI. With the free version, you have you can talk during you can take 5 calls at a time. Disconnect using the voice chat, and then you have to wait a few hours and then use the voice call option again. But if you pay, with the paid version, you can talk indefinitely using the voice chat. Now, these characters, they tend to simulate famous personalities like IShowSpeed, like Logan Paul, like Alex O'Connor, right? And they might act similarly according to them. And even they might get angry, they might insult you, they might disagree with you. Either sometimes, sometimes involuntarily if it's part of the personality, and sometimes not. But if you tell them to, it's not part of the personality, but you tell them to act that way. And this is a great way, to be honest, to see what it feels like to engage with a human. Though I would say that AI can replace most of these benefits if you're using technology and all this and that, if you're online. But the thing they can replace is the physical presence of the human. You are talking to, you are seeing his expression. This cannot be replaceable with online interaction, and this is why I'm saying that. And I'm talking about physical. This whole time I was talking about the physical presence of humans. I aim to talk about with humans, right? To have deep conversations with humans, but also AI, right? Intellectual friction with AI, right? So this is what it's best for. Social friction, what humans are best for. Intellectual growth with AI, it can attack a position from various perspectives. As I said, it reduces these biases significantly. It examines things more objectively. It doesn't attack or insult. It's always there. And with the humans, with the social friction, you can also it's also for intellectual friction. I mean, you exchange ideas, you challenge ideas, right? So it's also about social friction, adaptability. I mean, they might get angry, they might do a lot of things, and you have to adapt, and you have to have this emotional regulation if you want to maintain, not overreact, not be offended, if you want to maintain if you want to keep talking about with this person, right? We want to maintain the flow of the conversation, right? You don't want to ruin the conversation. Then you need some adaptability. Though if the person is inconvenient, I mean, there is more cost than benefit. I mean, they are constantly insulting, they don't listen, right? So they cause you these negative psychological feelings, right? Like stress, like anxiety. I mean, they are a reason behind these feelings. I mean, the way they talk, what can I say? Yeah, the way they talk. I mean, it's not too convenient for you. Then withdrawal could be optimal. You don't have to engage with everyone. There are always people you can find who are better. Though it's difficult to find someone who you can have deep conversation with physically, but there are always still other options, right? Sometimes if the cost is more than the benefit, then it's not worth it, to be honest. That's at least the case with me. But yeah, what I would say is that I don't fit in with most people because of this. Like, I mean, they just they don't match my interests. They are not compatible with me, either in terms of the pattern of thinking or having like similar beliefs. I mean, I don't want everyone to have similar beliefs, but at least they have to be a certain level, at a certain level, like, I mean, where they are respectful, where they are like willing to engage, where they are listening, where there is actually a common ground between us. Because a lot of times, like, I talk with a lot of people and they don't even pay attention. This is mostly the case. They don't make an effort. I'm the one making an effort to initiate. I'm the one investing time and effort to meet with these people and initiate. They just don't care. I don't get it. It could be for different reasons. Low interest. They might be busy, right? They might have other problems. They might value other things. They might not engage a lot naturally. Some people just don't like talking a lot. They are introverted in most contexts. They don't like expressing themselves. They don't like going deep even if they can. I mean, yeah, it could be social anxiety, etc., right? Yeah, this is why I don't fit in with most people, because I'm usually energetic when I talk about something that interests me. I tend to speak loudly even though I don't mean to. Sometimes it's intentional if I'm actually like mad, right? If I'm actually angry, insulting someone, they're insulting me back. I mean, in situations where I'm angry, yeah, it could be intentional. But usually, when I'm talking about something interesting I'm talking about something interesting with someone who I like talking to, and I'm excited to talk about that thing, like, I unconsciously raise my voice, though not on purpose, but it gradually happens. And my voice is naturally like sometimes louder than a lot of people, right? I like talking that way because it's energetic. It makes me sound confident. When I'm energetic, because it makes me sound confident. I feel like I'm free. I'm expressing myself the way it should be. With most people, I mean, they may have like impressions like this person is disrespectful. Who does this person think he is? But in reality, there could be multiple causes, and I just cited some. This is not the reason. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not acting like I know better. I'm not doing any of that stuff. It's just my way. It's just like my way of showing confidence that I'm interested about what I'm talking about and the person who I'm talking to. I mean, I enjoy talking with that person. Yeah, this is about it. People quickly rush to conclusions. Like, I mean, they collapse multiple possible causes into one cause, which leads to the oversimplification fallacy. Now, this is the core of the video, because like the video is about why I don't fit in. A lot of people don't fit in because of this. They don't find people who match their criteria. They don't find people who are similar to them. That's why. And it can be very difficult. I mean, it can lead to loneliness. It can lead to isolation, because you just can't find someone. Even if you try to engage with someone, I mean, you don't need someone who's interested. At a certain point where there is a severe lack of options, you just want someone who is willing to engage. But even a person who is willing to engage is hard to find, and that's exactly the problem nowadays. People just don't care. I really don't get it. Yeah, I tend to be analytical a lot. I tend to analyze things a lot. And a lot of people, I mean, they might say that, overthinking is basically being analytical, but overthinking is thinking in loops, is thinking about things without coming to a conclusion, about thinking about people, thinking about events without coming to a conclusion. It's rumination in a sense. You are thinking in loops, but it doesn't lead to any long term, to any reasonable conclusion, it doesn't lead to better knowledge, to deepening understanding. It doesn't lead to any long-term benefit. That's what about it. Analytical people could include mathematicians, philosophers, overthinkers. The problem is overthinking. That's why I try to turn that overthinking into deep thinking lately. Thinking about ideas, concepts, try to formulate my own opinions, right? To try to analyze and come to conclusions. This is what I'm trying to do. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of people, they tend to judge me as an overthinker. And that's why they say you overthink this and that. I don't like people who overthink, who analyze a lot. But you gotta make a difference between deep thinking and overthinking first, then you can say that. Yeah, this is basically the point. I mean, if you don't like me for being analytical, I mean, that's your own problem. I cannot be. I mean, it's not that there is part of me. I mean, I strive to be analytical, to show I am analytical by nature, right? I'm working to improve my analytical abilities. But at the same time, it's like I'm not being analytical with everyone. I'm being analytical with the right people. I'm going deep and I'm going deep and become precise, right, with my in my ideas, in my statements, with people, with the right people who are listening, people who understand. Not just everyone, not people who are complaining. I mean, if you don't like me for that, I can change. I cannot do that. I can adapt. But if you don't benefit me in any way, like if you don't increase my knowledge, if you don't challenge what I say, if you don't listen, I mean, if you don't fulfill some of my criteria, then I might not even engage with you because it's not worth it. The cost is more than the benefit. You get the idea? It's about evaluating the cost versus benefit. A lot of cases, this is how it is with me. Anyways, so this is the reason why I don't fit in with most people. If you feel like you have other reasons that I may probably, I mean, you could share your reasons if you have other reasons. Because I might also have other reasons, but I'm not thinking about them at the current moment. Yeah, but I say sharing, but I disable the comments. I don't need your sharing. Just, I mean, you can keep those reasons to yourself. But I know that there could be multiple reasons. I would like to see other videos of people talking about this same thing, right? Why they don't fit in, their experiences, and why that is. Because I want to understand multiple perspectives as to why this could be the case. Anyways, if you like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new. And I'm out. Peace.